Good morning and welcome to our 20th annual exhibit of hydrogen and fuel cell technology. We've been here for quite some time talking about hydrogen and fuel cells and batteries this year, something new. We have a visit to a country which is on the forefront of this technology ahead of us. We'll be talking to the Finnish Pavilion and to members of the Finnish Pavilion group. I will be beginning with Anneli Ojapalo, who's senior consultant at the Fuel Cell Finland, to my left, moving on down the line. Next up will be Kalevi Korjala, who's the CEO at Hydrogen Woikoski. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, very well. Very well.
Next in line will be Matti Noponen, who's manager of solid oxide fuel cells at Elcogen. And last but not least, Timo Matikainen, who's sourcing manager of Convion. And we'll be talking with all of them in this order, and then it'll get more into detail as we continue our conversation. The first thing, of course, Anneli, we'd like to hear is what is this Finnish pavilion? Where did the idea come from? And what exactly do you do?
Okay, so the organization of Finnish Pavilion actually is today Fuel Cell Finland industry group. It is an association in the Finnish Federation of Technology Industries. So the roots of being here with Finland Pavilion actually is that we had a 7-year governmental fuel cell program in Finland, Tekes fuel cell program, and it ended at the end of last year. So during that 7 year, we created a very broad fuel cell and hydrogen network in Finland with universities and companies. For instance, we had more than 70 projects going on, and we had more than 60 companies in the value chain in these projects. So finally, after the program, we realized that companies are still there, and the strongest of them are going to do business with their products. And now they are members in Fuel Cell Finland industry group. And actually, this is our 8th time to be in this exhibition. So all the 7 years with the program, we were here together, and we continue the tradition because we see that very typical Finnish is to join forces and be stronger together. So we cooperate very, very well together, and Finnish Pavilion is one very good place to share our experience.
Now, Kalevi, you've been involved in hydrogen for quite some time here. Could you talk about the history behind your company and what exactly you do?
Okay, thank you. I'm coming from a company called Woikoski, and it's the eldest gas company in Finland, founded 1882, so 132 years old. And we have been producing gases since 1912. We started with acetylene, but 1913 we started with hydrogen, to produce hydrogen with alkaline electrolyzer for stearin industry fat hardening. This was the startup. And actually we have been now in hydrogen 101 years. So this is an interesting area. Hydrogen, we are also producing all technical, industrial, medical, food grade gases. But hydrogen is one of the main gases. It has been very important gas all the time. And this company, the background, it's a family company. It's now the 4th generation running the company. And it's really coming from the Finnish side, and okay, we are working in Finland, but partly also in globally, okay, mainly in nearby countries. We have a company doing Russian business. We have also a company doing the Baltic States business, and also we are selling specialty gases. As said, helium to Europe, and we are looking for global markets with Okay, hydrogen and the hardware there, because we have built up the first refueling station, hydrogen refueling station for fuel cell vehicles in Finland. And it started January this year. And actually at this moment we have two filling stations in Finland. So we are quite deep in the hydrogen, and actually we are utilizing, I can tell more about the production methods later, but this is briefly the company. We have 180 people working in the company. The turnover is a little bit more than 40 million euros. And we are pointing out that we are really Finnish.
Okay, we'll have to return to many topics there. Of course, the infrastructure is a fascinating thing to talk about, where the hydrogen comes from. But remind me, we have to return to that topic. Just to get the overview, though, Matti, you're a solid oxide fuel cell man. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Every time we talk to solid oxide fuel cell specialists here, we have to ask the question, what is the core technology? What is specific about your approach to the solid oxide fuel cell? Things like temperatures, applications. So could you give us an impression of how you fit into that?
Okay,
general market?
Elcogen is producing unit cells for solid oxide fuel cells, but also fuel cell stacks. And the unit cell, if somebody don't know, it's ceramic type, which what we are producing. These are actually done in Estonia side of our company, which is actually the mother company for us. And in Finland we are doing the SOFC stacks. What is unique in our technology is that we actually operate our solid oxide fuel cell stacks and unit cells at bit lower temperatures than anybody else. We have the technology optimized at between 600 and 700 degrees. And this is basically done by doing our electrolyte a bit thinner than other companies. So we have only 3 microns thick electrolyte here, which then enables us to decrease the temperature. And this is done just to enable us to run these products longer time. So we try to expand the lifetime of these products by decreasing the temperature, but also helping us to increase the efficiency of our products. So this is the, in brief, what we are doing at Elcogen. So we are producing unit cells and we are producing also stacks in our company.
And the lower temperature, it decreases the wear and tear on the fuel cell itself. Is that basically the idea?
Yeah, this is one thing. The main degradation mechanism in solid oxide fuel cell is usually chromium evaporation from the metals and then going to the cathode side of the structure. And when we reduce the temperature, then this evaporation of chromium is less severe than at higher temperatures. This also enables us actually to go a bit more cheaper material solutions in our stack, for example. Again, enables us to reduce the cost of our stack technology.
And of course, whenever there's technology, we need a business plan and a complete system to accommodate that, the heart of the solid oxide fuel cell system. So with this, I turn to you, Timo. You're sourcing manager, and your job is to get these things on the market.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And so I work in a Convion company, and we are developing ready systems, fuel cell systems. And our history is from Wärtsilä time, and Wärtsilä is a global company which offer power solutions to marine business and energy business. We have a great 10 years experience to develop these systems, and now our target is come to the market very soon.
And the unit you've already got, you have a product right now that is on the market. Could you talk a little bit about that, what you're displaying at your stand there, the size of the unit, and what applications it's intended for?
Yeah, it's our power range will be between 50 kilowatts to 300 kilowatts, and this is our power range. And And our system will work by using natural gas, but also biogas also. So it's quite flexible about these gases.
So one of the things people love about the solid oxide fuel cells, of course, it doesn't have a fussy diet. It's not a fussy eater, so it can adapt to many sources of energy. We're going to turn this quickly into a conversation, but when we were preparing for this talk, I ran straight into one danger, which is the old cliche that here we are talking about a Finnish pavilion. So basically, we're talking about fuel cell technology in Finland, as if these were elks, you know. But of course, these Finnish experts are really interested internationally in marketing their products. And they meet international standards. I mean, the whole idea behind the Finnish pavilion is not simply to market the products within Finland. Yeah. It's to approach the world market, to maintain contacts with the world market, and to get these products sold elsewhere. So on the one hand, you mediate between the various instances within Finland, but on the other hand, here you are representing Finland outside the country in terms of sales. This is not a tourist interest in Finland, it's sales. So how do you find, what's the water like when you move on out of Finland? Is it challenging to look at all the different market applications and to consider where your market is, or where is your market when you market Finnish fuel cell technology?
So, of course, everyone can say, but generally, from Finnish point of view, we see that we are in fuel cells and hydrogens. We have so high and advanced technology that we are already well known in cooperation with European organizations. We have cooperated in Asia, in Japan, and in the USA. So our technology is already well known. So now we just need to identify the partners who might be those for piloting our products and then pave the way to the real market. So we are a good country with technologies which others abroad can then take and cooperate with us. So it is not really meaning that we keep everything in Finland, because Finnish market is so small, so it's not relevant to us. So it's important to find the international partners, and we are happy that we have had, for instance, more than 17 projects going on in fuel cell and hydrogen joint undertaking. And now we have about 8 new projects in the pipeline. So it means that Finnish partners are very popular with the knowledge base and development abilities. So that's a good advantage to us. But
we at Woikoski, we see that we are building up opportunities to other business areas. So we are producing hydrogen and also the devices, how to develop, how to deliver the hydrogen to the customer side. And also our another issue is to develop this refueling station, and we have built up our own brand. Of course, we have bought a certain amount of different components, but we have our own ideas, our own inventions there in our refueling station, and this refueling station is the first hardware unit that this company is now offering for the European and global market. We have been a gas company, concentrating to gases, the production of gases, but now we are coming out of this range and offering this whole concept of refueling stations.
Kalevi, there's one issue that they talk about when they talk about infrastructure and refueling stations, namely, internationally, there's no 100% standardized technology We're still shifting. You know, when you go to a gas station, it's relatively easy to fit something in that sized hole. If you want to plug something in Europe, it's generally a similar looking. Okay, the British do things slightly differently, but a large American market has one standard. The European market has one standard. Are there standards? Are we approaching a point where the fueling stations will have a standardized connector? Will the standards for pressurized gas, how many bar, you already are offering refueling stations. Do you have the sense that we already know what these stations should look like 20 years down the road?
Yes. Okay, the good thing is that we have standardized the nozzle, the filling nozzle. That is standardized, and that is a big issue. So we have agreed, everybody has agreed that we have the same nozzle connection in all cars and in all filling stations. This is a big issue because we have agreed here, and now what is inside the refueling station? Of course, everybody is having their own ideas there. What kind of compressing system? What kind of buffer system? How the dispenser units are cooled and these kind of things. There are some things. I think that more and more there will be some standardizing, but the big issue that we are already quite far with this one nozzle. Although we are only talking about that, but I have been involved with this European valve outlet harmonizing in European gas industry many years, and we haven't found the harmonizing how to harmonize it. It's very difficult. Yes. But here we have done it, and that's a big issue.
At least filling up the car will be feasible. It is an issue, though, of course, because if you buy a car and you wind up with an automobile that is designed for the fueling stations in your neighborhood, and then you change your job,
yes.
Or you move with your wife or husband somewhere else, you're really stuck. So it is an interesting issue, and of course for the designers of automobiles. Yeah. When I think about Finnish competence, I always refer to the German debate. One thing that is, I mean, we're talking about international products, but there's Finnish intellectual capital. And I mention this simply because when the Germans look at what is called the PISA study, and they look at how well students perform in various countries, the envy of Europe is, of course, Finland. Very high intellectual capital, very good educational system. So basically the resource that you tap into locally is the expertise simply that exists in this highly educated country. That raises the question, though, and I suppose this is a question I could approach Matti with, well, both of you. Do you have intellectual cooperations during the research and development phase across Europe and into North America? How does that development phase work? I mean, do you interact with other people? Do you look broadly on the market as you develop your core technology?
Yeah, definitely. Like Anneli already mentioned, we are active in, for example, European Union projects. For example, our company is now involved in 2 EU projects. We have also actually projects going on between Finland and Germany directly. There was actually initiative between Tekes and BMW to actually start this sort of Finnish-German project, and actually German chose Finland as the first country to start this bilateral project. So definitely we are heavily involved in this European project and cooperations. And also, for example, our company, our customer base is basically outside from Finland. We are also our sales is coming mainly to the European markets and also to Asian markets. And we have had some smaller sales also to United States. So we are both from R&D side, we are looking abroad national contacts, but also our sales are going to national over the Finland borders. So definitely we are national.
And Timo, this could also apply to the marketing and business side. Anneli already mentioned the big market is beyond the borders. So this is an international concern. Do you see specific markets that are very attractive to you? Everyone here asks themselves, we have wonderful technology, who's going to be the first person to buy it? Or the first 10,000 to buy it? Where's the market going to grow quickly? Some people say, look at Japan, automobiles. We'll get back to that issue actually because you have something to say about that. But where do you see the international market? Where do you see the growth potential there?
We see it so that here in Europe it's great activities, but this size of systems, a little bigger system, it's still very start and growing business. And for example, smaller system, 1 kilowatt and 5 kilowatt systems, it's already started this business. So this will also come very soon. It looks so that. But here, for example, in Germany, great activities here, and we have in Finland also some activities. But like Anneli mentioned, that also in Asia, in Japan, it's huge market area also because of natural gas and.
I think that one of the big issues is that you must get the things on concrete level, not just research. You must make
Exactly.
the units that you can see how they are working, and you must make chains, so full chain that you can really test what's going on. This is one of the main things also. And this is the way how we can also send the message to politicians, to audience. This is really near now. We are on in reality now. This is nothing that is on the design table. We are really here.
And I think that particularly holds true for the solid oxide fuel cell
Yeah, definitely.
field. Simply because you can actually calculate right now how to save on CO2 emissions and also how to save on money. On that issue of money, if I can ask a slightly technical question here, and by the way, the forum is open. If you do have a question, raise your hand and we'll do our best to address it. But on the technical side, we've seen some solid oxide fuel cell systems that have been designed to cover more the electrical needs of a home. And of course, anyone here from Germany will know why that's important. Simply, the electrical bill is huge. We pay a lot per kilowatt hour here. So if you want a return on your investment and you buy a solid oxide fuel cell that basically generates a lot of heat, natural gas is inexpensive, at least now, and it doesn't generate much electrical energy, you're kind of not getting that return over the lifespan of that cell as quickly as you would if you produce more electrical energy. So if you can imagine this, we've seen solid oxide fuel cells that actually cover only the hot water and the electricity. And if you want to heat your house, you have to use conventional natural gas. You have a low temperature solid oxide fuel cell approach. That is, it generates, just by definition of its operating temperatures, less warmth and more electrical energy while remaining efficient. Was this simply a question of the durability of materials that was the interest behind these operating temperatures? Or did you have the idea, electricity is the financial side?
Yeah, definitely. I would say both. When we reduce the temperature, then basically the kinetics for degradation mechanisms gets down, which means that basically we get more power from the same unit for longer time, which then decreases the cost of these equipments, definitely. But on the other hand, when we decrease the temperature, then we can, like you said, we also increase the efficiency. Just from the thermodynamics point of view, it's more wise to operate this technology as low temperature basically as it can be done. And I think that we should be at the sweet spot of this technology and temperature, how it's operated. We still can use, for example, natural gas as our fuel. We have good reforming capabilities inside the unit cell. So it's conventional technologies, in a way conventional what we speak about fuel cells. It's what we can use with our technology, but we can upgrade the efficiency of the system with our technology.
And one very important thing that also with their units can be produced hydrogen to turn it round, other way around.
Yes,
in the future.
Yeah, this is we have tested also our cells and now we are testing also our stacks in electrolysis mode. So meaning that we can also produce hydrogen when there's extra energy available from the grid side. So also for stabilizing purposes or only for hydrogen production purposes. For example, for vehicles.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this very often here. We all know that the PEM technology moves in both directions. There's
Yes.
PEM electrolysis, and there are PEM cells that run on hydrogen. But I don't believe this year that I've heard anything about solid oxide technology used in the form of electrolysis. So this is something relatively new or rare.
It is, I think, a lot of R&D groups at the world are now also investigating more and more electrolysis mode with solid oxide fuel cells. And the idea why this is also done at higher temperatures than PEM fuel cell is that we get better efficiencies again with this technology as with PEM. We are a bit behind PEM fuel cell technology what comes to the electrolysis, but basically what the technology promises is again better efficiencies, which means that less electricity is used when producing hydrogen with this technology.
Again, I don't want to put you back in the corner of we're Finland, we do things in Finland differently, we're the Elks. No, this is an international concern, but still there is a comparative point of view. Well, we face this cliche because we do have some countries that literally present their own national approach to this technology and with government-funded projects. But you don't get the idea that they're actually addressing an international market. And of course, in Finland, you said yourself, the market is small.
Yes,
and just
to go out.
Yeah,
Yes.
in order to run a successful business, you cannot supply simply the local market. And why would you want to anyway? Why would you want to have a good product and say, oh, this is nice? Don't look, obviously you want to market this in a larger scale. So that's the whole name of the game. But still we have this comparative angle. That is, you can say, what is the specific, or what are the specific issues that people face when they talk about spreading fuel cell technology? You can talk about the stationary applications. We'll get to the mobile applications. So what are the different dynamics if you look at how things are progressing in Finland and compare that with other countries? And we could begin with that typical question, do you have governmental support? Do you feel you have an advantage because of that? Or is it sort of largely business-driven and market-driven? Because some people are driven by government financing. So where are you located in that whole European and international picture?
So I think that the first step was that we had that 7-year governmental program because it helped us to develop the technology to the certain level that it is really much near the market, so to piloting phase. And it was of course important to get funding to that, but important is also that the companies has been putting their own funding all the time and trying to develop their business to international market. So it's a good combination, and in the whole time we have been aware that we need to have the European projects and international connections, because that is the way that we have good high technology, good knowledge, and we are well known about that high technology in this area. But it's not enough if you do not have the partners, and then the market pull comes outside Finland. So in Finland we have a good support to develop, because that is a national and governmental wish that we need to have high level, high technology but we need to have international growth as well. So our ministries are feeding us that message that you can get funding, but you need to grow internationally, and that is the driving force. But of course the market pull brought is that high technology is needed, and we have it.
From our point of view, we have get some funding for the refueling station, and that's a good thing. But our company has really invested a lot of money, own money, on these brands, and therefore we are so interested in, and the owner is very interested in what we are doing. So actually we have put a lot of our own money for the production of hydrogen and transportation, logistic systems, and that's how we are working.
And particularly in the automotive environment, as soon as we talk about refueling stations, we're already in that international issue of where do the cars come from? In what areas of the world will these cars be implemented, and in what form? We already know, and this is sort of the background. We've been talking here for, well, I've been here 10 years, we've been here for 20 years, and at various phases we have overestimated when a fleet of standard consumer fuel cell cars will be on the streets. So, 2004 we'll have 180,000 fuel cell cars. In Germany, we've overestimated, but at certain points we've seen, it's starting to happen. Combinations of fuel cells and batteries are already being used in applications for forklift trucks inside, for delivery vehicles, and then the pressures on things like pollution in large areas. Right now in Berlin, there's weeks during the summer where legally you should not be able to drive a car because the ozone alarm is going and the smog is there. So the question I'm asking behind all this is, when you address fueling stations, you must have to cooperate with those environments, and the question is, where are they, where these cars are already being used in larger numbers. When you develop a fueling station, you must be working very closely with those automobile manufacturers who are already designing and marketing, hopefully soon in large numbers, those fuel cell cars. So
okay, we have built up the full chain in Finland. So we have the production, we have the refueling, and we have also ourselves invested to fuel cell car, so that it's available there. Everybody can see and look, and they can drive, test it, and now we have built up 2 refueling stations, and we are willing to build up more. But now we need also that the car manufacturers are coming closer. The prices of these cars, they must start the serial fabrication, and all the majors have told that they are starting it in 1 year from now. Okay, we are really looking forward that this happens, and the price level what they have offered and say that it will be somewhere in 50 to 70,000 euros. This would be the reality. When we are at this level, I really believe that it's booming. It's really booming. So we are building up there are cars and different vehicles and refueling stations. It's going up. And one interesting point from Finland, from the corner of Europe, is that there is a development project with the snowmobiles that are very noisy, and the fuel cell snowmobile that is silent. If you think of that is a nice idea. Also, you can think of this with the water scooters that are also very noisy. Okay, this is another application. So there's a lot of potential and a lot to do. Interesting future.
Yeah, I knew we would turn to the elk-friendly snowmobiles. One point in there, but of course we have the same issues in Canada. There are environments where noisy vehicles are not allowed to be used. And by the way, there are fuel cell police cars, and one of the reasons they're used is because you can sneak up on those criminals. You don't hear them, So obviously there's a mark for that. If there's any criminals in the audience here, we may be creeping up behind you and you won't know where we're coming from. Yeah. Once again, we still have like a minute left for questions. If there is any question in the audience, we're happy to address it. No? Okay. We're almost out of time, so I really an unfair brief statement on what's up next, what's coming. And I suppose we can start from the business end and move back to the orchestral end with Anneli. So beginning with you, Timo, what's up next?
Next, what will happen is so that we really start to build up first a pilot system, and we are looking now interesting partners to where to first system will go. Is it Germany or Finland? Let's see what happens.
Matti, what's up next for you?
We are commercializing the technology, so we are at the moment investing to new fabrication lines. The other one is located in Estonia. The other one is located in Finland. And for example, last Friday we moved in Finland to new location already. So.
Okay, we are building up these opportunities to the others. So the producing hydrogen, refueling station, and motivating these vehicle producers.
And Anneli?
Yes, and Fuel Cell Finland Industry Group continue to keep contact with Finnish ministries to go on with hydrogen and fuel cells, and we are definitely part of the European hydrogen corridors, so that you can drive from Italy to North Sea through Finland, and they will provide hydrogen stations for that.
Okay, so there's a trip I have to take before we come back next year. On that note, I hope we see you all here back next year. We've been talking to the Finnish Pavilion. Our guests have been Anneli Ojapalo, who's Senior Consultant at Fuel Cell Finland. At the end here, Timo Matikainen, who's Sourcing Manager at Convion. Matti, Noponen, who's Manager of the Solid Oxide Fuel Cell aspect, Elcogen. And of course, Kalevi Korjala, who's CEO of Hydrogen at Woikoski, if I pronounce that correctly. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Please visit their booth and continue the conversation. We didn't even get to the topic of where the hydrogen comes from and what things are happening there, local production and so on. So visit their booth. It's E631, which is just in this direction, and you can continue the conversation there. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. We'll be back in 1 minute with the next presentation. Up next, we'll be talking to Dr. Antoine Matza. He's from Air Liquide, and they'll be talking about national and international hydrogen mobility developments. So have a drink, it's on the house. Back in 1 minute.